constructions here. So here's my straight edge, no markings, and this is a version of a compass. And again, some of the really good ones have locks, which make them better. Mine don't, so that's why they're not so good. Some of the cheaper ones don't. You have to just be careful. But let's begin. Now, some of these you kind of know because we did play with it a little bit, but these are the ones that we're going to be constructing. A segment congruent to another segment. Again, only straight edges and compasses. Perpendicular bisector to a segment. Remember what that does. We'll review it when we get to it. Perpendicular to a given line at a point on a line. So you have a line with a point, and you draw perpendicular through it. A perpendicular line, it's from a point not on a line. When you draw perpendicular. A congruent angle. Bisecting an angle. And also a line parallel to a given line for a point not on a given line. So we're going to be working on all these. So let's begin. You will need another piece of paper, I think. Some of these have room, some of them don't. And I may want you to practice a little more. Yeah, most of these are not going to have room. So please take out a piece of paper so that you have plenty of room to practice. Okay, so here we go. How do you copy a segment? Now this one we actually did. Now I am finding with these little tools here, and maybe it's me probably that I don't know how to do them. You basically want to draw a line here, and somehow it doesn't work for me if I try to draw a line. It doesn't seem to go straight. So I don't know how this works, but basically you're going to draw a straight line if you can. What? You know how to draw a straight line? Yeah. Yeah, what do you have to do to this thing? What? Oh yeah, I don't want to use the shapes. It just takes me forever. So anyway, pretend that's straight. So you use your straight edge. You're going to draw a straight line as straight as you can. And you're going to try and estimate it, make it a little bit bigger than this one. So, you know, you do your best to estimate. If it doesn't come out bigger, that can always be fixed after. So you draw a line that looks to be a little bit bigger than the line you're copying.
Why? Why does it have to be bigger?
Yes, I'll show you why. I'll show you why. Take it away, all my secrets right away. Can't spoil the surprise. Okay, so we have our lines drawn. Yeah, just draw a line. You have one like, just like draw a line and then you're going to copy it. Draw a line and then you're going to copy it. So what you do to copy a line, whoops, this is comedy, me trying to use this whole thing. You're going to put your pointy bit on one end of the line you're copying. And I want to advance, it might be a little frustrating at first. You do get better. The more you work with these compasses, the better it's going to get. So if you're frustrated at first, hang in there.
What size?
Your pointy bit goes here, and then you're going to open. Just watch it. Just watch it. You're going to open so that your opening is the pointy bit to your pencil to the end. Okay, so once you have this opening is the length of that segment. So now you're just going to pick this up without moving it. And I know some of these compasses are not good. You do your best not to move it. And then the pointy bit goes on that guy. I'm going to just pick this up a little bit, I hope. And now you're going to draw this little arc until you cross your new line. These marks are important because they show me you constructed it, you didn't measure it, with a ruler kind of thing, you just constructed it. So from here to here is the same length as from here to here, so these two segments are congruent. Now does that make sense? Just kind of thinking about making an opening and then repeating the opening somewhere else. It's just another way to measure. I don't know, did you ever take a piece of string to measure something? Kind of like the same idea, yeah?
I'm going to erase them.
Huh? Yeah, don't erase your marks. Don't erase these marks, they're actually important. Don't erase your construction marks ever. Don't erase construction marks. So you might want to just make that note somewhere. That shows me how you did it. If you want to, but you can usually tell. Make them darker, the ones out there. I don't like you erasing mistakes anyway, I just like to see the process. Okay? And that's it, your first construction. Your first construction. Let's look at are we ready for the next one? Who's ready? I'm ready. Okay, so now we are on a perpendicular bisector. So I'm on page 3 on your notes. Page 3. So at first, I kind of just want you to watch a little bit, or let me think about that. Maybe do the one in practice A. you don't want to practice A towards the bottom. Maybe we'll practice bisecting them together. Now let's remember what a perpendicular bisector does, right? So if I have a segment, a perpendicular bisector, right? It's perpendicular, and it cuts the line that it passes through in half, exactly 2 pieces. So that's what we want to create. Alrighty. Some people work better just watching first, and some people work better watching and doing. You may not know which person you are until you try it. So if you're finding you can't keep up, and what is she doing? I don't know. Then maybe just watch it first, and then I can repeat it. It's no big deal. So here's what you're going to do: is you put the points on one end, and I'm going to close this guy a little bit. But I want it to be, I guess, a little more than halfway. You do your best guess with that. A little bit more than halfway. And I'm going to draw an arc above. And then notice I'm not going to change how wide it's open. I'm going to kind of move it below. And I'm going to make an arc below. And this is where I'm not doing so well with this thing. An arc below. Okay, so draw an arc above and below. We did that far. Okay. Now I'm going to take my pointy bit, and again, I'm not changing my opening. So leave the opening the same. And I realize some of these compasses that's hard to do. So do the best you can to leave it the same. And now my pointy bit's on the other end point of this segment. And I'm going to draw arcs here so that I cross the other arc that I made. And I'm going to do one above, and I'm going to do one below. If I move this away, and again, I do want to see these construction marks. So once you make them, don't erase them. I want to see them. And you see this intersection here? And you see this intersection here? Those are the lines you're going to connect, and I'm trying to do it freehand, but you're going to be using a straight edge. Whoops. So what you've done, if you follow these little rules, is you now have a perpendicular bisector of that segment. Anybody kind of follow that a little? A few people. Okay, give it a shot. Just keep trying. I can show you again also, but keep trying it. Okay, let's try this one. Now this one, let me see if I can get this out of the way. A perpendicular to a given line when there's a point on the line. Maybe I'll get rid of this one. Okay. So the idea is I want a perpendicular that goes through this point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pointy bit, and I'm going to put it on the point. So if you want to look at the example A on page 4, if you're the kind of person that works better to do it at the same time, you can use that one. If you're the person who likes to just kind of watch it first. When I was learning these, I kind of needed to watch it first. So it all depends on the kind of person you are. So maybe we should all try just watching it first and see if that works better. So what you're going to do is you're going to open it a certain width. Now you get to decide how wide that is. And then you're going to draw an arc on each side. So I'm going to draw an arc here, and then I'm going to draw an arc on the other side. Let's see if I can move this thing. And again, I'm not changing the opening. Oops. So by not changing the opening, that means the distance from here to here is the same as the distance from here to here. Now let's think about that for a second. Okay, so look up for a moment if you're drawing something. I swung the same measured arc from here to here. In a way, well, not in a way, exactly in a way, right? This is a midpoint, right? Kind of is. It's the same distance. So I'm basically going to do the same thing I did for a perpendicular bisector now. It's already a bisector. Why don't I just draw the perpendicular? So I'm going to take this guy. Let's see if I can move him without messing it up. And I'm going to put my pointy bit here. Now you can change the width if you want. I want it to be a little more than halfway, just like we did before. And I'm going to swing an arc. Whoops. I'm going to swing an arc above. And I'm going to swing an arc below. This is just like what we did before. I'm going to put my pointy bit on the other end, if I can figure out how to do this thing. And then I'm going to swing above and below so that they meet, just like we did before. Now I've actually got 3 points. These should all line up, and then you're going to connect them. Again, I did my straight edge on 2 of them here, not so great. But these are the 3 points you're going to want to connect. There it is. perpendicular through to that point, through the line. What do you think? And give it a shot. Give it a shot. And if you have trouble, just give me a shot. On some of the examples, like what if the line's kind of small? You have a segment like this, right? And you're trying to draw one.
Cool.
It is perfectly fine to take your straight edge and just extend this. Extend this if you need to. And again, not very straight here. But you're going to be using that because you're going to be making an arc here and here. So you want to have room to kind of work with it. So if you need to extend the segment, by all means, go ahead and extend the segment. You can do that. And then swing above, below, move to the other side, swing above and below. Okay, so now we're still drawing perpendicular lines. It's okay if you didn't quite finish this one. If you did one or two of them, that's fine.
You wanted them.
So we have that line. It's not, that point's not on the line here. What am I going to do? Is anybody maybe starting to see a little trend here? What do you think I can do? If I start here, what do you think I can do?
Every time I move my compass, it stays.
Well, you got a bad compass. That's not a trend I'm interested in. What can I possibly do here? Any ideas? I don't know if you're starting to see, like, wait a second, it's only arcs. So I'm going to open this guy, if I can, and I'm going to swing an arc. Hopefully I open it up. So look where the pointy bit's on the point, and I basically swing an arc so that it hits both sides. Now you don't have to make it continuous. You can swing, pick up, and swing. Does not matter if you see the whole arc or not. But I should see the arc hitting on both sides. Okay, and I'm on page 5 here. And let's see, I think I'm probably going to fall off the page here. This does not have to be the same opening at this point. What I'm going to do is it needs to be, again, at least halfway. I can leave it the same, or maybe I can make it a little smaller. It does not matter. As long as it's a little more than half of that segment from here to here. And I'm going to swing an arc. I can. Here it goes. Now I'm not changing my opening. My opening has to stay the same. And I'm going to put my pointy bit on the other side here. And I know this one's a little hard to watch when I'm doing it here, but so my pointy bit's over here. I'm going to swing another arc. Move this away. Here's a point, connect them. Use your straight edge. I'm drawing it freehand, so it's going to look a little messy, but there it is. Yes, sir?
My compass is faulty. I usually doesn't look straight.
Yeah, I know, and I totally can commiserate if your compasses aren't that great. I've heard that some of the new compasses aren't that great either. So you're going to do the best you can, which is why it is double, triply, and quadruply important that I kind of see these swinging, like what you're trying to do anyway, so that we can get them through. So questions on this. What are the steps? You start with the pointy bit on your point, draw an arc that's going to cut both two places on that line that it's coming from. Once you have those 2 points, put your pointy bit here, swing an arc. Without moving the opening, put the pointy bit here, swing another arc until they meet. All right, give it a shot. You know what? Yeah, why don't we put down the compass and shake out your hands? Because I know some of you are you're all tense in the shoulders and that. Yeah, shake them out, shake them out, shake them out. Oh, this is hard work. Oh, right? It's exhausting. You thought algebra was all that, I got to do all that calculating. Now it's like physical. So shake them out a little bit. Did we at least get maybe 1 done? I'm just looking, did we get 1 done? It's okay if we get all 4. I just want to move on to the next construction. Are we okay moving on to the next construction? Yeah? No? Say, yes I am.
Yes, I am.
Awesome, okay. We're going to make some congruent angles. So let me, this thing's all crazy upside down. Let's see if I can get this out of the way here. So I want to copy this angle. It's from my page too. So I think the best way to do that, maybe this is a good one to just watch for a minute. Let's watch this one first. So the first step is you're going to draw one of the rays. So I'm going to draw like this ray. So you just make a segment. And again, use your straight edge. I'm not using a straight edge because I'm having a little trouble with these tools here. So you just make a straight edge. And I'm going to copy the angle here. And all the question is, well, where does that other ray go? So here's what you do. Take your compass. Pointy bit goes on the vertex. You're going to swing an arc of almost, I guess, any size. It doesn't really matter. I find something, I guess that's a good one. It's hard to say how far to go, but that's fine. And then you're going to swing an arc like this. okay? So we're going to swing that arc. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take my compass. This is my vertex right here of the angle I'm copying. And I'm going to swing the same arc. So I did not change this opening. That opening stays the same. And I'm going to swing that arc. Oops. Okay. So arc, arc, from here to here and here to here, those distances are the same, right? With me so far. Now what I'm going to do is, I'm just rotating mine a little bit, and I know this part's confusing to just see me doing that, but what I want to do is I want to put the pointy bit right here. So on the angle that I'm copying, where I drew an arc, so right where it met that ray, I'm putting my pointy bit. And now I'm using this as a measuring tool. I'm saying, well, how far apart are they? So what am I measuring? I'm measuring how far apart from this point to this point. So my pointy bit goes here, my pencil goes here, and this is where I don't want to change my opening. I'm going to keep it the same, understanding that some of the compasses are a little hard to do this with. So see, I'm kind of flying in the air here. I'm going to take the point, pointy bit goes right here, and then I'm going to draw like a little mark here so that it cuts here. Do we follow that? Okay, so now I've got 2 points. I've got this point and my vertex point. When you connect them and use your straight edge, I'm just using a freehand because of the tools here, I have copied that angle. They are now congruent angles. How cool is that?
That's cool.
It is cool. All right, so just to review, you draw your segment, the one ray first, you draw an arc, draw the same arc on the other side, measure the distance of this arc, and then measure that distance here, making a mark, and then you've got those 2 points you want. Bisecting an angle, so remember what a bisecting an angle does. You're going to draw a ray inside such that this piece is congruent to that piece, right? Bisecting an angle, making 2 congruent angles. So here we go. Start similarly. I don't have to copy it, so I can work with the actual angle. So I put my pointy bit on the vertex, and I'm going to swing an arc. How big? You know, it doesn't really matter that much. So, you know, set your compass so that you can make a nice little arc. So I'm making an arc. And then, you with me? I want to make sure we're all watching. So this pointy bit is actually going to go right on where that mark hits. And I'm going to open it a little bit wider. Sometimes you have to, sometimes you don't. I'm just going to make it a little bit wider. And then the idea is I'm going to make an arc this way. And then without changing the opening, I'm going to put my pointy bit here. So let me kind of reflect this guy. I'm going to put the pointy bit right on the other piece of arc. And then I'm going to make another swing with the arc until it meets the one that I just made. And I get a point here. If you connect that point with the vertex, again, I'm freehanding it, you're going to use your straight edge. You will have bisected this angle. Whoa, that's a horrible, horrible, horrible sign. But you have a straight edge, and I'm having trouble with my straight edge tool. So you're going to do that, and then you get congruent angles here. You have bisected the angle. Question?
Is C a straight angle or something?
Yeah, C is a good one. Let me talk about C. C is where you have a straight angle. So you pick a vertex, and then go ahead and you can pick a vertex anywhere on that line you want, and then swing that arc, and then make two marks after that. Give it a try, give it a try. All right, so we've been building up to this big moment. Here it comes. We're going to make parallel lines through a point, not on a line. So I want like a parallel line through here. You know what I want to do here?
I'll do parallel lines through a point on a line.
We're going
Not just the same line. Exactly.
Okay. So I want this. Now, luckily, we just finished our unit on parallel lines, and we're going to use a principle of parallel lines to help us do this. What do you mean, oh no? No, they're all good. So you're going to draw the transversal for this parallel line that doesn't exist. Yeah, you can do that first to this point. So you can take your straight edge. Again, I don't have a good straight edge. It's going to go through the point, and that's when I miss. Going through this point. Draw a transversal, any transversal you want. Draw a transversal through it. Okay, we're on the right page. Everybody's on page 7? Okay, we're on page 7. I want to make sure we're in the right spot. And then I guess we have some examples. I'm sorry. Page 7. Page 8.
9.
And then page 9 has some examples, right? So here's what you do. So you draw that transversal, and now I am going to copy an angle. So I'm going to copy this angle up here because I'm going to build corresponding angles. And I know if the corresponding angles are congruent, what can I conclude? The lines are parallel.
But that's just a postulant.
That's okay. It's good enough for me. So I'm going to copy an angle. So I'm going to swing an arc here. Maybe I'll make it a little smaller. It doesn't really matter, right? So you make an arc here. And that's not a real good one because I kind of messed up with it right again. My little pointy bit wasn't on the vertex. Let me put my pointy bit on the vertex. All right, that's better. I'm going to swing an arc. Now that very same arc is coming up here. So I'm not changing my opening, but I'm going to swing that very same arc up here. Yeah. All right. What? Swing an arc here. Swing that same arc here, where this is the vertex, and here's the other vertex. With me so far? Yeah. All right. Now I'm going to copy this angle. So I'm going to take this guy here. Here's my pointy bit. It's on this part of the arc. And I'm going to stretch this open to measure. Gee, how wide is that opening? All right. So I am not going to change this opening. Again, I understand, but my compass changes on its own. So hold it as best you can. You're going to put the pointy bit, look where I'm pointing up here. The pointy bit's going to go here. So I have to kind of flip on a little bit. So the pointy bit goes on this piece on your transversal. Without changing the opening, swing an arc till it meets the other arc that you drew. And now you're going to connect these two. Now mine doesn't look very parallel because I think I wasn't exactly on there. If you move this at all, it's not going to look very parallel. I get it, they're not good compasses. So please, I need to see all these marks so I know how you got there, because I realize they're hard to make them perfect with the equipment that we have. But if you have pretty good equipment and you measure this right, it's going to look really cool. Because you make corresponding angles. If they are congruent, then the lines are parallel. I believe that's the corresponding angle converse postulate. Yeah? Oh, yeah, this one's going to take a little bit of practice. You're going to need to shake out those hands again. Shake them out, right? Get them on, get some of the tension out, and try it. And I've got a whole bunch of them on page 9 for you to practice it. I'm going to ignore that, putting it all together for now. We did a triangle. Remember we did a triangle? So I'm going to give you a challenge. Can you create an
Challenge accepted.
an equilateral triangle? Can you create one using a straight edge and straight edge meaning no little marks or anything? Can you do challenge accepted? Go ahead and create an equilateral triangle based on what we know about construction. You go. I'm going to turn it on. You draw a segment. You make the arc, draw an arc, right? Same length, flip it to the other side, make an arc. My lines are horrible. So we can do all different kinds of things. I think somebody made an isosceles one over there. Joseph made an isosceles one. So you can do lots of different things. So any last questions just on, here we go, building these different constructions.
How do we get the last part of the parallel?
The last part of the parallel lines? So here to measure this, right? Well, if you get this point here, you connect it to the point that you're supposed to go. You measure this. So you're measuring the arc open.
You know what, Jen? What do you think would happen if I wrote a book called